Hi there, my name is Ben Lund. I'm the founder of Rise Marketing Group and former Googler, and been in the advertising industry for the past 15 years. I'm super excited for this updated course. I've been hosting this course for Google Ads for Beginners on Skillshare since about 2018, ever since I left Google. And I've updated since then, and pretty much every year or two as there's big updates to Google Ads, I make some updates. And this is the most recent update. This is the third edition of this. Super pumped to record a lot of these sessions and have a lot of really great updates on this. And this is just kind of building upon the portfolio of courses that I've been offering, and really grateful that to date we've had over several thousand of students sign up on Skillshare alone. And on this course, this is a continuation of Google Ads for Beginners, but the only thing different from my last course, which was edited about a year or two ago, is this includes a ton of the updates that's been happening on Google Ads that's more focused on automation, machine learning, Performance Max, which is a huge campaign type that I recommend pretty much almost every business to take advantage of. Google rolled this out earlier in 2022. And for our agency, Rise Marketing Group, we have nearly almost every client running it. But on this course, we cover how to set up a Google search account, including some steps of what not to do that Google can guide you to that you absolutely should not do because it's really going to hurt your performance. We're going to talk about how to set up a Google Ads account, how to set up Google Search Ads, how to set up Google Performance Max, which is a campaign type I would recommend every client to do and every student, display campaigns, video campaigns, and at the end of this course, I give an overview of a real live active Google Ads account for our agency, Rise Marketing Group, just so that way you can see after you set up the Google Ads account, then what do you do? And the decision making that I take going into a Google Ads account of which campaigns to push, which campaigns to pull back on, recommendations, how to view those, and optimizations that you should be making. So hope you enjoy this course. For anyone who finishes this course, just drop me a line or communicate within Skillshare chat. I will send you a certificate for completing this course, and hope you get a ton of value out of this, and this helps drive your business growth into 2023 and beyond. Or if you're a student, it's super valuable in just educating yourself on all the updates on Google Ads. All right, now for our first section, I'm going to walk you through how to create a Google Ads account. Process is very simple and straightforward, but I'm going to share with you there is a big pitfall that most people will take unless if they really know what to do. And just as a spoiler alert, Google's going to have you opt into creating an Express account, which is Smart Campaigns, which is a very easy way to set up your account, but it just eliminates and slashes so many great opportunities for optimization, correct conversion tracking, and I'm going to walk you through, once you set up your account, how to avoid that pitfall. But stay tuned and let's take a look. Excellent. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through how to set up your Google Ads account. So the URL is ads.google.com. Pretty straightforward. And then once you're here, a couple things I'm going to know. Oftentimes Google will run some really great promotions. Not all the time. But if you see something, then that means you could take advantage of. In this case, once you spend $500 in ad spend, you can get an additional $500 just on the house of Google. So if you go to this page and you don't have a banner up here, sometimes it's just good to Google Ads coupons. And sometimes you'll find out of any coupons out there. Make sure it's from a Google site, because the other third-party sites, they would likely have coupons, but they've since expired. But anyways, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but this is awesome if you can get some free ad spend. So if you click Start Now, you need to have a Gmail account to log in, or a Google account. Log in real quick. I'll probably have to do some two-factor authentication. Cool. Now, I'm going to do a new ad account. You'll see I have a bunch of accounts here just because we own an agency and we have lots of ads account. But in this case, if you likely won't see other ad accounts, but even if you do, and if you want to create a new one, you can create a new account. So let's go create a new account. And then just fill out your information. So in this case, I'm just going to do a mock account for our agency, and we have an advertising agency called Rise Marketing Group, risemkg.com. So let's just let's just fill this out here. So I don't want to link it to our business profile, so saying don't use this. So I'll just say Rise Marketing Group. I'm not going to launch these ads because I already have a ad account for our agency, but I'm just going to do this just for example's sake so you can see our screen. Put in your website. Very self-explanatory. Yeah, good. Looks good. And then from here, you'll just put in what you're looking to achieve. Do you want more calls? Do you want more websites or sales? Most people will want leads through their website, but if you have a call center, you might just want to focus on calls. But generally speaking, you're probably going to be hitting the second one. Some of these other ones, if you have a restaurant and you just want people in your location, there's some separate pathways for that. But I would click the second one, especially for this training, which is more for entry level, getting you set up. I'm going to skip for now on Google Analytics. That's going to be a whole separate course that we can set up. Now, what's happening right here is Google's just going to help guide you through setting up an ad just based off of crawling your website. This is fine for now as a setup. However, this is not going to be the strategy. Now, I'm going to get into this deeper. You look in the URL right up here. For every new account, Google's going to set up as an express account. And what that means, it's pretty much Google's way on how to get businesses on their platform to advertise as fast and as quickly and as seamlessly as possible. But under this express setup, it's really not optimized, and you're not going to be able to drive a lot of scalable growth because it limits your ability to measure and track appropriately. But unfortunately, we just have to go through these steps, but I'm going to share you how to opt out of Express later on, and so you can get the full expert mode of Google Ads. But until then, follow these prompts. So it's probably going to pre-populate a bunch of headlines. So within every ad, you see a couple headlines, up to 3, and then a couple descriptions that's appended under here. And then if you have a phone number, you want to just add this for your business. So I'm just going to add this right here. This is something that will be changed over time. I'm going to put in a dummy phone number right here just to move along the prompts. I'm going to skip a lot of these things. You can go through these, but let's just say themed word, marketing agency. And then this is important, where you want your ads to be served. I would give this a lot of thought and consideration. And be honest with yourself. If you offer a product or service, you're like, oh, anyone in the world can buy it. Be like, but where are your customers? Or if your customers are regional, I'm based up in New England, start there because you're already having success there. If you're already having success across the states, great, start there. But in the meantime, for this example, let's do United States. The beauty with Google Ads, you can set up any type of budget that you want. I like setting up a daily budget, and you can even start as low as $10 a month or something like that. And let's just say we want to start off at $10 a month. And obviously, if you're a larger business wanting more, then that will increase. So this is where you review this kind of starter information. And then you'd want to create a payments profile, which we can do real quick. And as I fill this out, I'm going to go back to our site just so you don't see our credit card information. And this will just be a quick moment. And once you do set this up, it's just you set up once and that's about it. So you're not going to have to continue to go back and do this. But these are just the steps that's required to get this off the ground. So I'm just entering my credit card information over here, and that is how you will pay Google. It's through credit card. If you're really big, they'll set you up on invoicing. But I'm just going to finish the prompts over here. All right, back to sharing my screen. Setting up billing. Let's see if that worked out okay. Cool. Explore campaign. Now, I am going to pause this section here in just a little bit. Before we do so, because we just created your Google Ads account. But I'm going to skip all this for now. This is very important, and I cannot stress this enough. I'll probably say this 5 times throughout the course. When you as you Google Ads and you sign up, it's going to bring you to this Express account. You don't want this. If this is what you're looking at, you don't want this. This is a very dumbed down approach. You won't have proper measurement. You don't have the insights that I'm going to share you on the expert platform, and I'm going to teach you how to use the expert platform. So you're probably asking, how on earth do I get out of this Express? Very simple. Go to settings, switch to expert mode. Let's do this one time. If you see this, you don't want to be here. If you see this in URL Express, you don't want to be here. Google did it as a way for businesses to get online as fast as possible and as easy and frictionless as possible, but you're not going to get the level of insights and data that's truly required. So again, go to settings, switch to expert mode, and they're going to say, watch out, expert mode is just for marketing pros that need adjustable bidding strategy, custom ad. Say yes to everything, otherwise you're pretty much just giving Google your credit card and hoping for the best. So hit switch to expert mode, and this is going to load for a moment. Click campaigns. I'm going to pause this campaign because what this is, that was just when you see this little magic wand here, that's one of their smart campaigns that was built in expert mode. Just pause it. And you have to pause it right away, otherwise it will start spending money. But through this process, now we created a Google Ads account. You create a Google Ads account. Under billing, you have a payment profile. If you go to billings and settings, and this is the platform where you're going to use, where you can create a bunch of awesome campaigns, all in expert mode. We don't see that little express thing in the URL, where you can create campaigns that are driven to drive sales for e-commerce, website traffic, app promotion. You can do YouTube campaigns. You can do just a ton of really, really good stuff. But I'm going to pause right here because this first section was just to build out your Google Ads account. So I'm going to pause right here, and in a bit we're going to go to the next section. All right, so now we're going to set up search campaigns. And for the campaign types, I have this prioritized over the other ones just because with Google Ads, search has been the core focus on all their types of advertising. And really that what's led Google to be the behemoth that it has been is primarily driven by search ads. So I'm going to walk you through how to create a search ad campaign and things to do and things to avoid, just to help you advertise and reach people who are searching for the products and services that you offer through Google search ads. There's a lot of different campaigns that we can create within Google Ads, but for this course I'm going to start off with search ads because since Google started allowing advertising on Google, primarily it's been search focus, and search works really well because you can reach people at the exact moment of intent that they're searching for a product or a service that you offer. And then if they see the ad, you don't necessarily pay, you only pay if they click. So let's get started on search. And there's been a lot of updates on search search ads over the past couple of years. So let's just start off. So pretty straightforward, do plus, new campaign. Now this you can say, oh, I'm looking for sales, leads, or site traffic. Let's just, let's keep it simple. We can just say, I want to do site traffic. As you have conversion events set up, then you can select, okay, these are the conversion events that I want tracked to help inform your bid strategy, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But that's why, again, it's so imperative that you have this set up. So let's do website traffic. We're going to continue. This is where we can search, pick the campaign type. Search, Performance Max, which I'm actually going to get into next. Display, shopping, video, discovery. And let's start off with search. And so again, we're going to be focusing on Rise Marketing Group, which is risemkg.com. And let's just call this, I want to advertise for, let's say, SEO. Search engine optimization. Rise offers a variety of services from Google Ads management, SEO, email marketing, but let's just say I want to promote this line of service that we offer, SEO. Yeah, we can leave this guide. Now, bidding, what do you want to focus on? This, again, why conversions setup is so incredibly important. If you're focused on less of website traffic, but more of like meaningful business outcomes, have it be focused on conversions. I would have that as the standard, assuming you have conversion tracking set up. If you don't, you're probably going to want to just focus on clicks and have a maximized click strategy. But until then, conversions, you can even over time, if you have enough conversion data, you can even say, okay, what's my target CPA? What's that target cost per acquisition? I'm willing to pay $50 per lead or $100 or whatever makes sense. But I would just start off with this. Get conversion tracking set up and then have it focus on conversions. Now, here's the next part of the setup, and there's a lot of very important things right here. Where to advertise? Search network, yes, including Google search partners. So that means other not as popular search engines, but they have an alliance with Google's where you can have ads on their website. So that sounds good. That includes sites like, I believe AOL is part of it. Target display network, don't do that. That should be meant for a separate campaign. Undo that. That's just opening up your checkbook to Google, if people even use checks anymore, or your credit card to Google to just give them some additional ad spend. Locations, in our case, we're US. This is also very important. Under target, don't just say presence or interest, so people who have an interest in this country. No, make sure that they actually live or are either in or regularly in your targeted areas. If you just have interest, I could be serving ads to people in, let's say, Mexico or Canada who might have done a Google search about someplace in the US. So that doesn't mean that they're local. So just make sure, always include presence for target. Language, English, or all my ads and keyword targeting is going to be in English anyhow. You don't even need to set a default because you're only targeting based off of what users are typing in. So if they're bilingual but they're searching English, that's totally fine. So it doesn't really matter if you're US targeting, but if you are targeting other countries, I would target the language that your website is in. This is very interesting. So over time, Google has made it where you can add in audience segments to your search campaign. So we all know, for example, how Google Ads work. You do a search for, in this case, SEO, and boom, 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 all these ads come up. And it's all based off of keyword targeting, but they've opened up to then allow you to have additional insights and even additional targeting of who your target audience is. Now, this is slightly complex, but I'm going to try to break down as easily as possible. I would definitely add in audience segments that make sense for your business. So for example, for us, education, home ownership, that really doesn't mean anything to us. But maybe if they're in market for, I know there's a marketing in here, under B2B, I believe, business services and interested in advertising. I want to give Google that little signal of, hey, Google, just keep in mind people who not only are searching for my keywords, but also are in this audience segment. And you can add in a bunch of other segments, including your own data, which is remarketing lists, which I'll get to at a later time. Or you can even say, employment status, that's really not me. So let's just say this. Now, this is really important. Don't do a targeting. If you do a targeting, your audience is going to be too small, because that means in a second we're going to create our keywords. That means not only do they have to search for the keywords that we're building out, but then they also have to be identified as Google as in market for this. Generally speaking, that limits our audience. I always start off with observation and then look at the performance of that audience and see how it does. And just by adding it as an observation, Google will automatically start to bid on these audiences based off of performance with conversion-based bidding. So let's go into more settings. Ad rotation, prefer best performing ads, good. Ad schedule, this is a good one. Sometimes I recommend maybe all days, but just show during hours that make sense, where users are engaged and ready to make a decision. So maybe it's like 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I just don't want to reach people who can't sleep at night and they're just scrolling aimlessly on their phone. That's not my intention behind this. So definitely add in an ad schedule. This is just fictional right here. And now we're going to go to keywords. We can exit this guide. If you add in your URL, it'll give you a bunch of good keywords, but for the keywords, you want to be as specific as possible, because you're paying for every click. You want to make sure that this inbound traffic is highly relevant to your business. So I'm not going to just target, as I mentioned earlier, this is an ad group for SEO, which is search engine optimization, how to have your site rank higher on Google. I'm not going to have it be around like marketing firm. Way too generic. You don't know if they're looking for SEO. You don't even know if they have a website. They might be into TV broadcast. So what I want to go for is SEO firms, SEO company, SEO agency, search engine optimization company. And what I'm going to do, which I would recommend everyone to do, use phrase match. What that means, put your keywords in quotations, and what that tells Google is it's a really good way of just honing in on specific keywords, because you're going to enter in keywords and then Google's going to match that to a real search query out here. By putting in phrase, it will serve to all keywords that have either of these words or synonyms or misspells or like terms within it. So this could show for example, this could show for best SEO firm or SEO firm Boston, whatever that might be. And if you don't have the phrase, if you remove this, that's called broad match, and that's going to just map out to anything that Google thinks is relevant, including just like a general marketing firm or digital marketing firm, which you don't want that. All search campaigns for the beginner, I would just do in phrase match. You can also do, it's called exact match, which is in these little funky brackets, which means your search term has to be this exact phrase here. But that's a little too constrictive, because people don't necessarily search like in 1 or 2 or 3 word search queries. It's usually a longer form, like best SEO firm for e-commerce, for e-com, and this one could show because it has SEO and then firm in there. So I would just recommend to do phrase match. And see, Google's even said, oh, put your keywords on broad match. Don't do that. That's a good way to waste a lot of money. I wouldn't recommend that. And then you're going to put in your URL. Be mindful of where you're going to be paying for traffic for. So if I'm advertising for SEO, I don't want them just to go to my homepage. I want them to go to my SEO page, search engine optimization, where it tells all the cool stuff that we can do and reviews. And get started today, and then it'll go to the contact form, and we even have some nice little pop-ups over here. So make sure you're driving them to a very specific page. A display path is just appendages to a display URL. It's just vanity, but add it because it just makes it look better, SEO, and it's more relevant. Next, add in a bunch of headlines. Load it up with headlines, and then Google will rotate between a bunch of different headlines that that's relevant to the search query, and they'll perform the best. So rise above the competition. Great, that sounds good. Led by a former Googler. Sounds good. Ways we can grow your business? Too broad. Let's add and have your copy match the keywords that you're targeting, because if someone's doing a search for SEO, they're going to want to see, they're only going to click an ad that's relevant to that term. So it's SEO, agency, and then SEO firm based in Boston, or right outside of Boston, but close enough. Boston DMA. Drive more traffic with SEO. And then you're just going to want to try a bunch of different iterations. You can see Google's going to just rotate and test a bunch of different headlines. Same with descriptions. Have that match the intent of the keyword that you're targeting. So don't do, in this case, anything about social media management. Talk about build, future-proof your business with SEO. Free consultation for your website. No long-term contracts, just solid work and results like it. Cool. And then you can add in a bunch of different asset types. And what that are, site links. What site links are, they are links that go deeper into the site. So it could be about us, and then I believe we have an About Us page. Sure do. Learn more of Rise Marketing. Meet the team. Actually, I don't think you can have an exclamation point. And then that'd be About Us. Another site link, which is deeper into, could be services, general services page. Marketing services. From PPC to SEO to social, we have you covered. Final URL, and then just load it up. Add in a bunch of these descriptions. I'm going to save. Good. But there are other asset types that you can have. What these are, as Google said, they do improve your ad performance and make your ad more interactive and relevant. Add it. If you have a promotion, add it. If you have different prices, ours varies based off of need, so I won't put that there. Structured snippets, what these are just categories of offerings that you have. So it could be brands that you carry, courses, services. So in this case, it could be SEO, PPC, social media management. Save that, and then you can even add lead forms to your ad. If in my experience, I haven't gotten a lot of leads from it. You do need to have a privacy page on your website, but you can even build out a lead. So instead of clicking to the website, they just fill out a lead form. I personally haven't had a lot of success with it. Callouts are just non-clickable callouts about your company. So led by a former Googler, no long-term commitments. Just anything that's noteworthy that you want to make sure that calls out, and you can save that. Let's apply. Beautiful. And then Google will give you recommendations if you need more headlines or anything that's different. But in this example, I'm just kind of walking through how to set this all up. And then let's hit great. This is where you set your daily budget. I'm not going to spend $300 a day. Let's just say I'll spend $10 a day. And that's the beauty with Google. You can pick whatever budget that makes sense for your business. And then if it works, then you just continue to go on. So I'm going to publish this. And then let's back up. I always love, whenever you're in Google Ads, I always click the campaigns. That's like my reset home screen. This is your campaign. Again, whenever you create it, always defaults to launch. So let's pause that puppy until you're truly ready. Yep, pause it. And then when you click in, this is the ad group we created. You can rename it SEO. And you see our keywords, search engine optimization company, SEO company. If you want to add more keywords, just add them here. But remember, use phrase match. Have them in quotations. Don't just go out broad because that's going to kill your campaign. And then you can go to ads, rise above the competition. Right now it's under review. And then that's pretty much about it. Pretty straightforward, but over time, you're going to build out a bunch of these campaigns. So in our case, we're going to do the same thing, but then we're going to do it for search engine marketing or PPC or Google Ads management or email marketing or social ads or meta ads or social media management or creative services. And then you can see for any business that someone has, you should really have multiple campaigns and as based off of each product line or even service offering that you have. And then over time, you're going to see which of these perform best, where you're getting the best, most conversions and best conversions, push budget into those and less into the poor performing campaigns. So this is overview on how to create your first search campaign. Now we're going to jump into Google Performance Max. Now this is brand new for this course. In past editions of this course, I did not have this only because it didn't exist. Performance Max is a campaign that's geared towards performance, as the name would allude to. And by performance, it means driving business outcomes, whether that's sales or leads or whatever's most important for your business. And the beauty of this is, assuming you have great conversion tracking, you tell Google what to focus on, which conversion events, and then you upload a bunch of assets in terms of ad copy, images, video, and then Google will just start to advertise across all their properties. Search, display, video, shopping for e-commerce to help you get those customers and those leads at the right acquisition cost that you're looking for. So let's jump on in. Is new with Google Ads is a new type of campaign type that I'm super excited to share with you because on my last several Google Ads courses, this feature wasn't available, and this is a big one. So what I'm going to cover right now is how to create a Performance Max campaign, which I would actually recommend every account to create one. And what Performance Max is a campaign type that will allow you to advertise across all of Google's platforms. So when you think of that, you're probably like, well, what are Google's platforms? Obviously, you know that you have Google Search, but then you also have YouTube, and you also have Gmail, and there's a lot of great platforms. And what this Performance Max allows you to do is, through good conversion tracking, and again, it all goes back to solid conversion tracking, you can say, Google, this is my goal. I want to drive more signups, more sales, whatever it is, and this is my goal, and then here are a bunch of assets, so images or headlines or descriptions, and then you just say, all right, and here's my budget, go find these conversions. It works extremely well, and I'd recommend pretty much every account to have this, and this is brand new to the Google ecosystem in 2022 and will continue to be a big force in 2023 and beyond. In my past courses, didn't even have a category for this just because it's brand new. But I'm actually putting this right up right after search text ads because that's how important this is. So how to do it? Always reset, go to your campaigns, just click campaigns, that resets it nicely. And then what we're gonna do is go to plus, do new campaign, and then as always, pick whatever your campaign objective is. Chances are it's either gonna be sales or leads. So let's just say sales, or actually, we'll go back to leads because this is a mock for Rise Marketing Group. And then it's going to say, okay, use these conversion goals for your campaigns. Great, that sounds really good. And you can You can remove these if you're not trying to drive these actions. And in this case, we're looking for contacts and phone calls. So let's hit continue. Now, before, when we created the search campaign, the campaign type was search. Next, we're going to go to Performance Max. And notice how even Google is prioritizing this. They put this right next to search. They don't put this as an afterthought next to discovery ads. They put this right here. And there's some really good support articles out there, even if you do Google Performance Max, for you guys who want to learn a little bit more of what it is. There's just helpful information out there, but really, as I mentioned, target your audiences across all of Google's channels and networks. It uses machine learning to drive awesome performance, gives you really good insights, and it's really you're steering automation with your campaign inputs. So really exciting. So let's go into Performance Max, and let's say this is going to be Rise Marketing Performance Max. Always be very clear on the campaign naming conventions, just so you can refer back to it so you know which is what. Let's just say $10 daily budget. I want to focus on conversions. Great. And I'm going to click next. Choose where you want to serve. In this case, United States. Your language. I'll leave it as English. That's fine. Let's go to more settings. As I mentioned before, ad schedule is important. I don't want to reach people as they're just trying to fall asleep and they open up their phone, just killing time. No, I want to reach people when they actually have a present state of mind. So let's just do 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. See more settings. All of this looks good. You can also consider, it says send traffic to most relevant URLs of your site. I usually say just send traffic to the provided URLs. So when we're uploading the assets, we're going to give specific URLs. You can test either of these. It depends how much control that you want. If you want to give all control to Google, Google's just going to comb your site and be like, okay, I think this user should go here. Or if you want control, you're like, nope, I just want to drive users to this 1 or 2 pages, then I would do provided URLs only. Now, instead of ad groups, which is how it works in search text ads, they're called asset groups. So it's asset groups, and so this is the URL. So let's say I want to drive people to, instead of SEO, which we did on the last one, we're going to do search engine marketing. And then so what this is, we have a page led by a former Googler, Rise Marketing Group, Google Ads, Bing, DuckDuckGo, and you can have some ads here. And then there's, we have a nice little page here of testimonials, and then get started today, which will go to our contact form. So let's say I want to drive people here. And let's say I'm okay to have phone calls. This is disapproved because this isn't a real number, but let's just say just for example's sake. And then what you can do is you can add a bunch of images. Now, you can upload a bunch of images from your computer or from Drive. You can do from website. Let's just pick, let's see if any of these are good. Cool, that's good. Let's say, yeah, clicking ads and making money, fun. But what you want to do is you want to upload a bunch of different images and even videos. You could even do, let's see if there's anything on our LinkedIn. Nothing there. I'll just kind of pick a couple of these just for example. Cool, logo. Yep, that's our logo, good. Video, Rise Marketing Group, for anyone who is listening, we now have a YouTube channel. I would definitely encourage all you guys to subscribe to it. That is not it. This is it. Rise Marketing Group, if you see this, that's it. And we're uploading some really good content. For example, this was a video on SEO or PPC. What should you consider? Should you buy the traffic or should you work to get free organic traffic? But let's
invest in search ads.
Excuse that. Let's say we have a video that we also want to add here. Maybe you have a promo video or whatever. Search YouTube. Boom. Let's add that. Fun. And then you upload a bunch of different headlines. When Google tells you to put in a bunch of images, logos, and videos, you just do it. You don't ask questions, you do it. And so headlines, search ads agency, drive efficient, grow your business today, Rise Marketing Group. And then you want some, I'm not going to fill out all of them, but no long-term contracts, just solid work results, search engine marketing, and it will pre-populate a bunch of this stuff. And then so what you can see, and let's also do a long headline here, rise above the competition is search ads. And then so what you can say is, oh, we need a business name, Rise Marketing Group. And you can add in site links, which we created these. Services, about, which are links that go deeper. Call to action, maybe I want to say, learn more. And there's a bunch of different asset types. We talked about this a little bit more on our last, or in the last section. If you have structured snippets or lead form, you can add that. And then so what you're going to see is across all platforms, this is what the ad would look like on YouTube. This is what it would look like on Gmail, for example. This is what it would look like on search, Grow Your Business Today, Rise Marketing Group, Search Ads Agency. This is what it would look on display. And obviously these assets that I uploaded aren't really the best. Just example's sake. And then this is Google's discovery feed, which is if anyone has a phone and has the Google app, you just scroll. It gives a lot of updates and stories and things like that, and then you can have native ads there. This ad strength is poor because I did not put in up to 5 headlines. I did not put up to 5 long headlines, up to 4 descriptions. I didn't load this up. But Google will let you know once this is ready. And once it says that you're outside of poor and these are strong, then you go to the next one. Additionally, you can add in these signals. So what audience signals are, it's giving a signal. And it doesn't mean you're going to target these audience specifically, but it's just to give Google a signal to say, hey, Google, check out this audience. And it could be interest. So maybe it could be, as mentioned, people in market for advertising and marketing services, Google advertising. It could say, you know, if you're 18, you're probably not ready to hire a marketing agency, but maybe if you're 25 to, let's say, 64, great, let's give Google a signal, because Google will not necessarily only serve to this audience, but you're just tipping Google off like, hey, serve these ads, but just keep in mind, these might be some good audiences that work, and Google's going to look at that. There's a bunch of other data that you can add. You can add in new data from your audience manager, which I'll get into actually right now. You can create custom segments, which I also like, which could be searched for Google Ads Management. You can create a segment for people who have searched Google Ads, AdWords, or search text ads. Let's see, Google Ads, and it will share you up here how many people that you could potentially reach. Obviously, we don't have the budget to reach 500 million impressions, but you create an awesome segment. And I love these segments because it's based off of what people searched in the past. You can also upload your data. And what that is, if you click into Audience Manager, you can create audience sources. And what that is through any of these platforms like Google Ads Tag or Google Analytics, you can create audiences such as people who have visited your website. But you do need the Google tag on this. I'm not going to get into this into too much detail, but this would be a great signal where you can upload an audience such as email list or just email list, or if anyone has visited your website in the past, you can connect all of this and create some really cool audiences. And that's by just leveraging your data. So taking 10 steps back, what we're doing is we're uploading a bunch of audience signals of like, hey, Google, don't explicitly target these people, but watch out for folks 25 to 44, those who are in market for Google advertising, marketing, advertising services. Oh, and also those who might have searched on Google for Google Ads Management. And let's name this audience Performance Max Search Ads Audience Signal. And Google is very disclosing. Performance Max campaigns, your ads will be shown to people beyond your selections to find new conversions. So it doesn't mean you have to have it perfect and you're only going to target that. So great, this is good. And now let's go to next. Checking for errors here. And give this a little bit of time. Good. Just double check. Awesome. Now we can publish the campaign. Great. So now what's going to happen is it's under review, completed campaign, policy review, 1 to 2 days, and then it will say, okay, next you're going to expect impressions, and impressions are just your ads are serving, and then next you should start to get some conversions. And it will give you ad strengths, how your ads are doing. And I'm actually going to go back to all campaigns. I'm going to pause this because anytime you create, it just automatically defaults to being live. Yep, we're going to pause. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a real life Performance Max campaign, just so that way you can see when it's live, what does it actually look like. So give me one moment. And this is the Rise marketing account that has real budget associated with this. And as this loads, so as always, I like going to the home screen. I click campaigns, and let's remove all these segments. Great. And let's just say, take a look at the last, I don't know, since August. Awesome. So when we take a look at this one, for example, PMax, short for Performance Max, I can click into this and I can see what's happening here. So we spent $92. It looks like we had one person fill out the lead form. And all of these, you can toggle around these. You can say, oh, I don't really care how much I spent. Let's say I want to focus on clicks. 73 clicks, one person contacted. That's actually pretty good. So you had one person sign up or submit their information after 73 clicks. That's a better than 1% conversion rate when you map it back based off of clicks. But then, let's see if there's any insights. You can toggle through all these, and it might give you some insights. So understand, understand the search term categories your ad appeared against and your performance on each category. So obviously if they're searching for a brand, there's some level of search volume. Not a lot of insights here, frankly. Let's open this up to last 28 days. Okay, cool. So this is a better one. Indexing high for search keywords around digital marketing agency USA, digital marketing companies USA. Okay. Then I'll say raise your budgets because our ad stopped on busiest days. All right, not a lot of insights here. But let's just kind of go through. If I go to Auction Insights, this is actually more advanced, but it'll tell you who we're competing against. So me or us, SEMrush, then you have Google. But yeah, over time, as you run more, it's going to give you better insights of which search keywords are doing really well for you. You can go into asset groups to make any changes. It'll give you your ad strength. In this case, it's just average, which we want to be above average, but I can make some tweaks to that. And but that's a real live Performance Max campaign out in the wild. And I actually have two different campaigns, and you can see how many clicks, how many impressions, what's our click-through rate, what's our average CPC, because you only pay per click, that's cost per click. I have Google Analytics linked up so I can see what the bounce rate is of the percentage of users who visit, what percentage of them will bounce, and I'm testing against two different audience signals, so one is actually outperforming. And yeah, we have one conversion, so that's the clear winner right there. So that's good. So let's go back to this account here. So that is Performance Max. I would definitely recommend this with Performance Max if you're e-commerce and you have a product feed linked to Google Ads. So you need a product feed to Google Merchant Center and then link Google Merchant Center to Google Ads. Then this is how you serve on Google Shopping. So if I'm looking for running sneakers, let's say you're a retailer for running sneakers, you have all these shoes here. I actually have a pair of those, super comfortable. And let's say you're an e-commerce retailer, you are going to want to create a Google Merchant Center account and then link that to Google Ads, link Google Merchant Center, and by linking that, then through Performance Max, I know sounds like a lot, but then you will be able to serve on shopping, and that is how you can serve on shopping when you're an e-commerce brand. So to take 10 steps back, as you build out your search or your Google Ads campaigns, I would start off with search ads, and then next I would definitely do Performance Max. And as you get these campaigns set up, you can customize these columns so to whatever is important for your business. So for example, it might be clicks, costs, impressions, which is how many times your ad was served, click-through rate, and let's say conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rate. And then over time, you'll be able to say like, oh, all right, this campaign, I get a really low cost per click or high engagement and strong conversions, and this one I'm not getting a lot of conversions. I'm going to put more budget into here. So just click this columns button to modify whatever fields that are most important for you. So that covers Performance Max. If you do search ads and Performance Max, for a beginner, I mean, that's a lion's share. In another course I'm going to cover, another section I'm going to cover over a few other different campaign types. But this would be a really strong start. So I'm going to end this here, and that is how you create a Performance Max campaign. Next, we're going to get into good old-fashioned display ads. Now, display ads are ads that you see online. So any website or blog that you're visiting, you see those little ads. A lot of those ads are powered by Google's and Google's display network. So if you have a blog, or you might want to monetize that site, and by doing so, you connect it to Google AdSense, which will allow Google advertisers to serve ads on it, and then Google will just take a rev share off of the revenue that they're earning from, in this case, your website. Display ads are really helpful and valuable. I would prioritize Performance Max before you get into any type of display campaign, because Performance Max includes display ads and it will be optimizing towards a business outcome. But sometimes You want to have a separate display campaign, whether targeting past site visitors or specific placements or audiences that you know are important for your business and you want to be in front of them. So let's jump right on in. Great, so now I'm going to get into a new type of campaign, and this type of campaign is going to be called just a display campaign. What display campaigns are is just any type of ads that you see on the internet that's outside of Google that is connected to Google's ad exchange. So a great example that I always refer to is New York Times. So this is actually one of our clients right here. A lot of online publications, blogs, news outlets, they make money through advertising, and their best type of advertising will be custom sponsorships. But when they don't have those custom sponsorships, they link it to an ad exchange such as the Google Ad Exchange, where they can sell inventory, and then Google, and then in this case the New York Times, will split the revenue that they get per click because they charge per click. So in this, I'm going to share how you can show up on different websites and apps with display banner ads such as this, and this is actually one of our clients right here, and pretty awesome ad placement right here, right on the New York Times. So let's go back into our sample account. We're going to create a new campaign, and also before I do that, just remember, if you just set a performance max, that alone will also cover display ads. But if you just want a display only campaign where you want to curate the exact placement or audiences, then I would say create a separate campaign for display. So steps are pretty simple. Now with display, it's very different from, let's say, search, which is high intent and usually focus on sales or leads. Display, it's same with video, it's very much more brand awareness and reach. So even if you click this, Google will already say, okay, you're looking for brand awareness and reach. Don't do search because that's really not the intention for that. Search is to capture demand and convert some of that traffic. And if you're looking for brand awareness and reach, that's really like a display or a video play. So let's just, again, and your business's website, risemkg.com. Display brand awareness. That's what we're going to call it. As always, yep, got it. Yep, exit guide, we're good. US, making sure where you're targeting. Always go to presence, that they have to either be or regularly be in that location. You don't want to, if you can't, in this case, provide services to someone in another country, you don't want to make sure that they're not in another country and occasionally search for things in the US. You want to make sure that they have a presence there. Check your language. I love setting ad schedules, as you probably know by now. So let's do, just for example, 10, maybe 10 to 10. And the last one I did 8 to 10. More account settings. Devices, yep, all devices is good. We live in a mobile first world. You want to make sure you're on all devices, not just computers or desktops. Cool, let's go next. Budget, let's say $10 a day. What do you want to focus on? Viewable impressions? I would, yeah, that could be good. Or there's a couple of things that you could do. So it's saying you could do viewable impressions, which is a good way for just brand awareness, which viewable impressions is if you go on the New York Times, and let's see what ad comes up next. If this were your ad, obviously this is the Times. It would optimize towards places where people can actually see it, not, let's say, on the bottom of the page that they didn't even scroll down to. So that's a good way for awareness. Or you can try to go for conversions, which display campaigns is a bit harder because you're just showing them a banner ad and you just want to expose your message in front of them. Or you could say, how do you want to get conversions? You could even manually set bids of, okay, I'm willing to pay $2 per CPC. But in this case, let's just go with, if this is awareness campaign, just go viewable impressions. And then you could even say viewable CPM, which is short for cost per 1,000 or cost per 1,000 impressions. And let's just try a $5 CPM bid, cost per impression. And it'll even give you an average range so that we're actually on the high side. High is upwards of $3. And then let's add in our targeting. It's very similar to what we did for PMAX. You can add a couple audiences. One thing I don't like to do, I turn off optimized targeting. I just don't believe it, because the purpose of a display or video campaign that you specifically create outside of Performance Max is you're testing specific audiences. When you do optimized targeting, Google will just show it in front of whoever it thinks it might have success with, but you don't get that data. And then you can add in other information. I mean, you could even choose specific websites. So let's try NewYorkTimes.com. Let's see for it to load. And I don't know why it's not showing it. But I'll give other publications, but I know you can definitely advertise on New York Times. But this could be a good, fun area just to play around with, just to see if there's any niche sites that you definitely want to advertise on. So for us, Search Engine Journal. I know we can buy traffic on this publication. Let's see what it says. Give it a couple more seconds. One more moment. For some reason, it's going. Yeah, but you can just kind of play around to see what websites would be really good, or specific apps. There's other ways that you can target that's not necessarily targeted content. So we did our audiences. You can add additional targeting, demographics. So let's say 25 to 64. Household income is really good if you sell a product or service that's maybe more for affluent or maybe more for the masses. That's good. You can maybe only serve on specific topics. In this case, I might want to say business and advertising. And then before you know it, we have a nice little audience that we created for ourselves, and we can go to next. As before, anytime Google asks you to do something, you just do it. In terms of uploading assets. So URL, maybe I just want to do brand awareness to our homepage, so risemkg.com. Make sure we have that there, Rise Marketing Group. And this is just all example, but I'm just going to upload a bunch of images. You could even do video if you wanted to. Add a bunch of headlines, and it remembers, led by a former Googler, it just remembers all of that. Obviously, I would hope that everyone puts a little bit more time into this, but we've done this process before, so I don't want to overdo it. And here are sample ads of what it could look like, and not too bad for just whipping through something. And they're all automated based off of the assets that you upload, the headlines, the images, the copy, and you can see just what it will look like. Not too bad. You don't have to work with a creative shop to do all this. And now it's checking for errors. Looks like I have a couple errors on the ads, probably because I flew through it a tad too fast. Need to add in a long headline. Apply changes, boom, let's go next. Campaign review. Publish. As a reminder, anytime you publish, the campaigns will be live. So I like to refresh. I like to go back to all campaigns. It's green. I really didn't want to launch. I pause. Yep, no, we're going to pause it. Thanks, Google. And that's it. That's how you can create display. You can even create campaigns that are targeting a specific audience that that you upload, and you can even target like past site visitors. That's like your own first-party data, which would be your data, and then AdWords optimized list, or once you have the Google Ads tag on your website, which I alluded to earlier, if you go to Audience Manager, you can create some really good first-party segments, which you can upload a customer email list, which is awesome. And you don't even need a pixel for that. And you can upload that to target in your display campaign, or you can say plus website visitors, and you could say remarketing list, and then make a bunch of rules. Visited this page contained whatever, and let's say we're going to reach out, keep them tagged for 90 days. You can create the segment, let's say, which means they just visited our page. It says we don't have any numbers just because we don't have the pixel on the site. But within Audience Manager, you can create these great segments. And then within our display campaign, let's go to audience segments, browse, your data, website visitors, boom, remarketing list. What I would actually recommend if you are doing a remarketing list to either an email list or a website visitors, I would put that audience in a separate campaign, because they're going to perform much differently than just users who just visit your website. And you're going to probably want a different call to action. It'll be a much stronger call to action, not just learn more. It's going to be sign up today, or here's an offer, because they've already been to your website. There's already a relationship. Now you want to take that relationship a step further and have them take action. So I would actually create a separate display campaign for remarketing. But as a reminder, Performance Max, if you upload that audience signal, Google will take that in consideration, and that will include some level of remarketing, which is just targeting these other audiences based off of the performance goals that you give it. So that's why I just lean on Performance Max. You don't even need to create all these other campaigns. But I did want to give an overview of how to create a display campaign if you intend to have a super targeted audience that you want to make sure you show an ad to. And that wraps up our display advertising section. Very similar to setting up a display campaign, now we're going to set up video campaigns on how to advertise any video content on YouTube. YouTube's a great play for driving awareness or brand consideration. It's definitely not the place for last click conversions and driving immediate leads and immediate sales, only because people are watching a video, and to distract them to then go to your website and then transact off of that website, it's asking a ton. But video is a great way to get users engaged with your brand and just hearing your story with video, which includes sight, sound, and motion. So with that, let's talk about how to set up a video campaign, but only set up a video campaign if you're really looking for just brand awareness and brand exposure. Type of campaign that we're going to create, and this is likely going to be the last campaign that we're going to create, is going to be a video campaign. Now, a video campaign's purpose is to show ads more likely than not on YouTube. So when you're watching, let's say,
this is some of her best work. That's disgusting.
a Taylor Swift video, or
if you're going back to school, before you submit
whatever it is, you'll see ads such as these.
your
And you
essays,
can have
run it through Grammarly to quickly
similar ads, and it's to a targeted audience or contextually relevant. Now, I will say, as before on the display section, if you have a Performance Max campaign and you're looking for specific outcomes like leads or sales, if you upload videos in this, Google's going to take care of that for you and try to find relevant audiences for your business on video. So you don't necessarily have to do that. But I do want to cover this because there are a lot of advertisers that say, hey, yes, Performance Max is good, but I want to intentionally use YouTube ads and target a specific audience because it's important for my brand just to get out there and really make sure that I have solid reach. So in this case, I might do brand and reach, and let's say video inside of display before we do display. And this gives you good ideas. Video reach campaigns get more reach for your budget with bumper ads, skippable in-stream ads, or non-skippable in-stream ads. Skippable in-stream ads are those ads that you see that after, I think, 3 or 5 seconds you can skip it. And if you skip it, you don't pay Google anything. Or non-skippable is, I believe, 15 seconds long. And then bumper ads are just 6-second assets. This is new. Reach your audiences while they're listening to YouTube with the audio-based ads. I'm pretty sure this was rolled out over the past year or so. And then it'll say, all right, let's, and you could also do an ad sequence. This is more advanced where you can say, by showing your ads in a particular sequence where you could do a full long format ad and then maybe shorter ads with bumper ads. But let's not get too into the weeds here because this is more for the beginner. And let's say we're going to go for efficient reach. Reach more users at a lower cost with bumper ads, skippable in-stream, or a mix of both types. So that sounds good. And you can play around with these. If you're looking for product and brand consideration, the options are going to be different. So follow Google's guide of what you're looking to do. But generally, if you're looking for video, that's more of a brand awareness. So let's go through in these settings. And what you're going to find, very similar to display, very similar to Performance Max. Setup is pretty straightforward. So put in a campaign name, video ads, Rise marketing group. Excellent. And in this case, we're going to target a CPM, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. And it should give us a range. And let's say I like to do budgets by daily, not a campaign total. Networks, I usually don't like to have video partners on display networks. So that's like if New York Times had a video and then we could have an ad on it. I usually just like to focus on just YouTube if I'm going to do video ads. Locations, English. This is really good because there's a lot of content out there on YouTube and some you may not want to have your ad on. So for example, content not labeled, which means you don't know if it's going to be a mature content or what. I usually have that checked. Probably check mature audiences. I mean, there's a lot of content out there that's for 17 and older that you may not want to be associated with. Uncheck that. Maybe you don't want to be on any videos around like teen, or maybe live streaming videos because you don't know what that content's going to be about. So there's a lot of good safety measures here just to make sure that your brand is going to be aligned. And you can even do expanded inventory, which just opens it up to everything. I wouldn't recommend that. Standard, which is good, or even limited. You can do just like keep it really clean. And if you're brand sensitive, that's not a bad idea to go. You can add related videos to your video to help increase engagement. I wouldn't focus too much on that, but it shows a related video next to your ad just for more experience. Devices, I just pretty much do everything. If you don't want to be on TV screens, you don't have to, but if it's for awareness, why not? Frequency campaign, this is good. What that is how many times per week or day or month you want to reach a user. I would say no more than 5 times per week because you don't want to hit them up too much. Ad schedule, you know me. Let's just say 10. I don't want to be serving in the middle of the night. They're going to forget it in the morning anyhow. And then this is all the same thing that we reviewed earlier. You put in your demographics. You can put in audience segments. So usually if I'm doing any remarketing, I'd keep that separately, but just for example's sake, we could do some your data. So let's do a remarketing list, past site visitors. You could do in market for advertising and marketing. You upload your video. Let's do Rise Marketing Group, YouTube.
Just wanted to start a business.
This is not the right channel. This is an old channel of ours. That's our channel. So let's say this video is all about outsourcing digital marketing. Should you outsource it, or should you keep it in-house and manage it yourself, or should your team do it? This video is way too long. You should keep a video. I wouldn't promote this in this format of an ad. Any ad should be 30 seconds or less. People have short attention spans. There's no way they're going to watch a 5-minute ad. And that's why Google's saying like, longer than 3 minutes, red alert. But I just did this because that's an asset that I have readily available. And let's say I want to take them to our website. Display URL, outsource digital marketing. Display URL is just vanity URL. But this is the site that we're going to drive it to. Ad creation, that's that. A bid, let's say $5 CPM. It should give me estimates potentially sometimes. All right, that sounds good. Let's create the campaign. Good, it's ready. Bingo, bango, and go back to all campaigns. I like just this screen's better. I'm gonna pause it, and that's it. It's super easy. And then now, as you can see, this is our original campaign. I'm gonna delete it when Google's pushing us to that smart campaign setup. But, so I'm just removing that. This is, now we have a search campaign targeting on that you'd serve on Google.com and their network of keywords, targeting people who are looking for SEO. Our ads are very relevant to that. We have a Performance Max campaign, which I love, which can serve across search, YouTube, display, shopping. If you link up, create a Google Merchant Center account, which holds all your product information, and you link it to Google Ads. Display campaign, targeting a specific audience. Video ads campaign. So it's great. And then over time, what I'm going to want to do is add in a bunch of different metrics. And maybe I want also to know what's our average CPC, otherwise known as cost per clicks. And since we're doing, you can customize the column, because if you're doing, let's see, video campaigns or display campaigns, you might want to see something a little bit different. So I'm just going to go through this just to see if there's anything else that I want. Yep, let's say views. I want to know how many people viewed my video, how many people played this video until 25, 50, 75, 100%. You can even add, if you link up, it's not showing me right here, but if you link up Google Analytics, you can see what they're doing on your website in terms of the bounce rate, average session duration, things like that. So that way when you're evaluating performance, all these campaigns are running, you can say, oh wow, search is really good. I'm getting a lot of conversions, and compared to Performance Max, I'm gonna put more budget here, or the other way around. Or maybe video ads, you're probably not gonna get a lot of conversions because it's really focused on brand awareness. And you're okay with that because you're looking at other metrics such as how many views am I getting? What percentage of the video are they playing to? And same with display campaigns. It could be, it's more awareness, so you're probably not going to get a lot of conversions, but how many people are you reaching? And you can really customize this, and it's important to understand where the goal for each campaign. Search, Performance Max, that's conversions, that's calls, that's sales. These other campaigns is much more higher funnel or mid funnel, just to build up your brand awareness. So those are some of the main campaigns that you can create in Google, all updated for late 2022 and into 2023, because Google has made a lot of changes and it's important just to keep up with everything. So I'm going to end this section right now, but now you know how to create a video campaign, and it's very similar to display campaigns. And the last note on video is you can link up your, let's go to linked accounts, tools, linked accounts. You can link up your YouTube account, so then way you can get some real nice analytics there. You can link up Google Analytics, so any of your site traffic campaigns, you can get extra insights there. Just a lot at your disposal that you can do. But this is just a great introductory setup for some of these campaigns. The last section of this is I'm going to walk you through our ad account for Rise Marketing Group, for our agency, not our clients, because that's proprietary to them, but for our agency, just so that way you can see, as we have a live ad account, how do I approach these different campaigns? How do I make decisions to optimize? What data points do I look at? What columns do I look at, or should I look at? So within this section, I'm going to just walk you through just how do I approach the optimization, which I hope will help you take from your account from initial setup to then successful ongoing management to help you improve the performance month over month and quarter over after quarter. Campaigns on Google, and this could be search campaigns, performance max, video, display, you name it. I want to show you an active account just to walk through how you should be managing this. So it's one thing to set up a campaign that you think is going to be in the setup best for success. Then the next thing comes in is like, well, how do I manage this? And this is just going to be a quick tutorial, a couple things that I take a look at. Obviously, to master it, it takes many, many, many hours. But I am going to call out some things that I look at in our accounts on a very frequent basis, and I would recommend clients to do so, or students to do so. Now, in this case, so Rise Marketing Group is our agency. I can't show you clients of ours because that's their data and information, but I will share just a small Google Ads account that we have for Rise Marketing Group. So let's just go to all campaigns, time frame within the last, let's say since October 1st. So a bunch of campaigns. These are a couple display campaigns. This was a video ad that I created. We have some good performance max campaigns too. And what's unique about them is each one has a different audience signal that we talked about in the past. This is a remarketing campaign, so a display campaign targeting past site visitors, which is just great for awareness and remind people who've been to our site to think about coming back and checking us out. And then we have SEO, SEM, outsourced marketing, and social media management. And these are search campaigns. And you can tell what type of campaign, if it's got a little magnifying glass, those are search. If it looks like a website, those are display ads. Video is a little recorder, camcorder, and then PMax, it's all algorithmically run, so they have some nice little squiggly lines, some data lines. Anyhow, let's get into it. So one of the first things that I do is just take a look at where are we getting our conversions from. So right now, and let's just take a look at all of our enabled campaigns just to keep it simple. It looks like we had 2 campaigns that actually drove a conversion. So SEO, we spent $100, close to it, and we got a conversion or a lead. Cost per click is high, but that makes sense. It's super competitive. Click-through rate's decent, 1.33 in 11 clicks. And we got a lead. And then another one, Performance Max, we also got a lead, but we only paid $59 for it. So of all the campaigns, these are the best. And then when I take a look at some of these other campaigns, like this display campaign, we spent a couple $100, 0 leads. So I'm actually going to pause this right now. This is a display campaign. We spent $42, no leads, no conversions, but I'm okay with that because you never know. Like the next click could then be a conversion, and then it could be a top performer. So what I'm going to do is, these are our top 2 campaigns. So let's just increase budget a little bit on those two. And these are all daily budgets. That's how I set up the campaigns. That's usually how I like it. And yeah, this is, I think this is pretty good. And this is just something over time, you're going to be optimizing towards conversion events. And that's just one thing you want to do is feed the winners. And if something isn't performing, either cut the daily budget, or just turn it off completely. Now, you never want to prematurely pause a campaign because, as I mentioned, like this one spent $42, no conversions, that's fine. But if I just were to pause it, I don't know what the next click is going to bring. If the next click brought in a conversion, then that's one of our top performing campaigns. So in this case, I would want this to spend at least $100. And if it still didn't get a conversion, then it's like, okay, well, maybe we should move on. Another thing, since I have Google Analytics linked up, you can customize your columns to include metrics from Google Analytics, which is really helpful because you can see how our users, what are they doing on the site? And no surprise, our bounce rate for our search campaign for SEO is the lowest. And bounce rate is just the percentage of people who just visit the one page and then leave the site. And you want a low bounce rate. We have a high average session duration in terms of seconds, 57. Strong pages per session, almost 2 pages per session. So it's not surprising this campaign got the conversion because this site analytics look really good. And that's another thing to optimize towards even before you get that conversion. If the traffic you're paying for is spending a lot of time on your site, that's a sign that it's qualified. Same with Performance Max. This is actually doing decent, 75% bounce rate, 32 seconds per user. CPC is super low, so that's great. Remarketing, not so much. I'm still going to keep it because this is just a good campaign to follow people around the web who have been to our website. Social media management, hanging in there. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a conversion sometime soon. This display campaign, I'm actually targeting, let's take a peek. Go to content, placements, because with display campaigns, you can target so many different things. Let's take a peek. I am just targeting specific business websites. So entrepreneur.com, Business Journal, Small Biz Trends, Business Journals Boston. And let's go back to this. How am I doing? Bounce rate super high, average session duration low, so I'm going to pause it. I know I said earlier I want to keep this going based off of conversions, but if I see a super high bounce rate and they're just leaving our site, I don't think it's going to be fruitful. So let's pause that. I'm also going to pause this campaign because the bounce rate is high, super low average session duration. And there you go. I paused a bunch of things. So what you would then want to do is feed the winners. Maybe I might even add more budget here. But then also what you may want to consider is, of the campaigns that paused, create some new campaigns and then test those against the winner. And then keep this process going until you get a really nice system where you can get some pretty efficient traffic. So that's just how I look at general management. Another thing that's super critical to look at for your search campaign. So let's go to search campaigns, and then what you can do is go to, let's just click one of these. You can go to search. Let's see here. Let's go into, click into ad. Oh no, we don't even have to. Click into the ad group. These are the keywords I'm targeting: SEO agency, search engine optimization. If you go to search terms, these are the actual search queries that someone typed into Google that mapped to our search keywords. And as you can see, they're all pretty relevant because, as I mentioned in the tutorial, I'm using phrase match, which means each of these words has to be within the search query. If it was broad match, it could map out to a bunch of just random search terms, but it has to include these root keywords or synonyms or close iterations of these or misspellings. So looking at your search term is going to be a key to making sure you're paying for quality traffic. And when I take a look at the last month, SEO agency Boston, great. SEO company Boston, good. SEO service, great. SEO tech company, look, I'll keep it because technical SEO is part of SEO home services SEO, sure. Boston e-commerce, these are all great. But let's try to find a bad keyword. I mean, these all look really good. Top SEO agencies. Okay, here we go. Etsy. Someone wants to do SEO on an Etsy site, which super hard to do. I don't want to get into that. Or Fiverr, they're looking for just a cheap outsourced product from someone in another country. I don't want to knock Fiverr, but generally speaking, you get what you pay for. And there's a lot of riffraff out there. So let's say I don't want to show up for these types of search terms. What you can do within this campaign or ad group, you can say, I want to negate Fiverr. I also want to negate Etsy. And I put this in parentheses, and instead of targeting these keywords, it will negatively target them. So we won't show for Etsy, we're not going to show for Fiverr, anything like that. And for this ad group, or you can do it at the campaign level. Further, you can even do an account list that's shared at the account level. And let's see what I have here. Free hiring job openings. Yep, that's all good. But you could also add in these here, and then it would cover all of your campaigns. And you can say apply. Yep, it's applied to all of it. And then that way you don't have to do it for every campaign. So, and I called this out, or found this earlier on. I was matching to a bunch of hiring type keywords, and that's not the intent behind this campaign. I'm looking for clients. So I wanted to negate anyone who's looking for Boston SEO agency hiring or things like that. So that's another thing I would definitely look at, and I would almost look at this daily, especially when you start your campaigns. Assuming you have conversion tracking, and you should absolutely have conversion tracking set up, always look at real meaningful conversions that are coming through your website. And making sure you have the right bid strategies. So right now it looks like a lot of our search campaigns are on a maximize clicks bid strategy, which isn't bad just to get started. But as we're getting conversions, you know what I'm going to change? I'm going to change the bid strategy to not be as focused on clicks, and I'm going to have it be more focused on conversion events. So let's let good old Google Ads wake up and smell the coffee and load this page. And it's hung up on something. So I'm going to change this to conversions, because really that's what I want. So let's change that campaign to conversions. And another campaign that got a conversion within this past month, I think this is already set at, Performance Max is always focused on conversions, so not surprisingly that did well. Yep, it's focusing on the campaign specific goals, maximize conversions. I have a target CPA of 20, which is probably a little too limiting. I'm going to open that up because looks like based on the data, our top performing campaigns have a $50 cost per lead or $75. So I'm going to give it some breathing room, because sometimes if you have too targeted of a goal of saying, let's say you're an e-commerce shop, you're like, great, maximize conversions, but focus on a target CPA or target conversion of $3. That's just insane. Google's going to realize it can't deliver to that, and then the campaign spend will be less and less until it just stops serving. So that's good. Another thing, always customize your columns to what makes sense. I like these: cost, average CPC, click-through rate, clicks, impressions, conversions, view-based conversions. So for anyone who saw a display ad but didn't click, but then ultimately viewed, that's great. Then I like to have these Google Analytics metrics. Another thing that I would definitely look at is the recommendations tab. These are recommendations coming directly from Google. Now, huge caveat. Understand who is sharing these recommendations. Google is sharing these recommendations. Google's number one priority is Google. And that's just what it is. They're a publicly traded company. They need to grow. So some of the recommendations aren't going to be in line with your number one goal, which is growing your business. So some of these recommendations are good. Some of these, understand who is giving you this recommendation. It's not a third party. It's not Ben or someone at Rise Marketing Group. It's Google. Not surprisingly, most of the campaigns, they're just saying, oh, raise your budgets. Hold tight. Actually, these two campaigns were budget constrained, but I was just looking at them. They're actually our poorest performing campaigns based off conversions, so there's no way I'm going to increase budgets. Google's just looking for you to spend more. Upload customer match list, good. So these are how you can upload first-party data into Google. Improve your performance max asset groups. Get more conversion by adding or improving your assets. Because some of your performance max asset groups have an ad strength below excellent. So you can view and then, okay, adding more ad assets, that's good. If there's a tag issue, absolutely. Anything ad related, that's usually good. Add site links to your ads. It looks like we only have 2, so that's a good one. Expand your reach with Google search partners. I think right now we're just targeting google.com. That's fine. Display extension. Recommend because some of your search campaigns have an unspent budget that can benefit from display expansion. Don't do this. You should never have a search campaign also target serving as a display ad. No way, no how. I'm not going to do that. Lead gen form, okay, maybe. Google Ads Editor, only if you're advanced and know how to do that. Optimized targeting, I usually don't like to do that. That's expanding your audience targeting, and Google just finds people they think may convert, but you don't know who even you're reaching. Bid more efficiently with maximized conversions, just change that on 2 campaigns or at least 1 campaign. Improve responsive search ads, okay, that's good. But this is just, hopefully this wasn't too boring, but this is just ways that you can just kind of go through this. Anytime that they're asking you to maybe add new keywords, make sure they're not on broad match. Usually any type of ad recommendations are good. Measurement recommendations are usually good. Budgets, always be wary of that. Because again, understand who is sharing this with you. This is Google. Google's best interest is not always your best interest, even though if they seem like a great company, and it is, I worked there for 4 years, but understand just where this information is coming from. So this is how I would look at this, and I would look at this when you just launch a campaign every day, maybe not the weekends, or sometimes on the weekends if you're really into this. And then maybe once you get a good handle on it, then every other day, then every 3 days, and then every 4 days, and keep it at that. I wouldn't do anything less than that because things can change. And if you just keep this cadence, you're going to get some pretty efficient campaigns, and if you keep on learning. So hopefully this little section is helpful just to understand how I would look at optimizing a campaign that's currently running. All right, so that pretty much wraps up everything. I hope you've really enjoyed this course. As I mentioned earlier in the course, if you reach this point, you should request a Google Ads certificate or certificate for this Google Ads course. Happy to send this to you. Strongly recommend that you leave a review. And then, of course, if anyone is in need of marketing services for their business, check out Rise Marketing Group, Rise Marketing. The address is risemkg.com. Love to have a conversation to see if we can help build your business, but hopefully this is helpful and add a ton of value for you, and look forward to staying in touch.